Let's do all that.
Yeah. So, NBL Grands, St. Louis. I was at this race. I think this was. This might have been my second Grands, maybe. I don't remember.
Second Grand. So where was your first Grands?
I think my first Grands was 1980 or 81, maybe. At it was in Oklahoma City. No, it wasn't in Tulsa yet.
Gotcha. What was your first national?
My first national, I think, might have been Georgia.
Georgia.
Like Griffin, Georgia, maybe.
Okay.
Well, I don't know if that was the first one. I know the first national I won was in Griffin, Georgia. That was an NBL race.
That was NBL. So what year was this, you said? 80, 81?
This is 80, maybe?
80?
Yeah, 1980. So I was privateer.
So you're like, what, 12 years old then? 11, 12?
Maybe 13.
13?
Maybe it was 81. Bad with timelines.
Aren't we
dude.
all?
Timelines. I'm no good with timelines.
Yeah, exactly, man.
Let's see, actually. Here you go. This was my big race. This is Maryland. ABA National. My Babe Ruth moment. I remember before the race, I walked around to all the factory teams that were there, and you know, of course, every kid wants a sponsor. I didn't have a sponsor, so I asked them if they wanted to sponsor a 13-year-old. Of course, all of them said no, except Roger at CW was there, and he said, if you triple, you're on the team. So what did I do? I tripled. I won.
He was on, yeah.
I won my class, open, and trophy dash.
So Trophy Dash, was that like a combined age group? How'd that work?
Yeah, so Trophy Dash was 13, 14 Trophy Dash. So if you won 13 novice, expert, 14 novice, expert, or you won the open, you'd get put in the Trophy Dash.
It's a pretty cool.
So yeah, so they used to have Trophy Dashes back then.
That's cool.
And so yeah, it was pretty cool. I couldn't believe it. I was so excited.
I bet. So CW sent you all the gear,
Yeah,
and
so-
bikes, and
So
how'd that happen?
like the next week or so, I got well, actually at the race he gave me a jersey. I think
At
it
the
was-
race?
I think it was somebody else's jersey that he gave me. So then the next week I got a frame and a fork, and I took all the crap off of my other bike. I think I was on an NCS. Took all the parts off that, put it on the CW, and then the next big race after that was, I think, Braddock, New Jersey, for the ABA National. And I don't remember. I don't think it was a stellar weekend for me.
Hey,
So,
yeah.
but yeah, that was the beginning of it. So 80.
It's 82 there for that
82?
Maryland
Yeah,
race.
82. Oh, I got on there at 81. Well, whatever. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
So yeah. So then I started going all over the country, racing all kinds of nationals. And in the summer, school would get out, and I would fly to California and stay with Roger Worsham, the owner of CW. I'd stay at his house, or I'd stay with Billy Griggs, because Billy Griggs was on the team back then. And we would hang out racing in Southern California for a couple weeks before we would head out on the summer tour. And we would basically crisscross the country in the team van.
How did Roger get into BMX? What were his ties to it?
Roger had a bike shop called Coast Wheels, and he saw the popularity of BMX grow. So he capitalized on that. He always did that kind of thing. He was very smart.
Entrepreneur,
Business-
always looking for the
businessman.
next big adventure.
Yeah,
yeah.
So he first he had some frames made that were branded Coast Wheels, and then he started sponsoring riders, and it just kind of exploded after that.
Yeah.
So, and then he decided that manufacturing would be better for him because paying somebody else to make your frames, you're not really making any money doing
Right.
that. So he started manufacturing the frames, forks, handlebars.
So they were manufactured in California?
Mhm, yeah. Yeah, so the first, I remember the first factory was in Brea, California.
Brea. Not sure where that is, but
Yeah, it's
hey, Brea. Woo!
It's in Southern California. And Roger lived in Riverside, I think. So he commuted from Riverside, or was he in Corona? He was some. It was a commute. I remember riding to work with him in his car with his
Quite a little hike, huh?
yeah with his dog, his Cocker Spaniel. And then I would work at the factory like for maybe a week, just doing whatever, packing boxes. Roger's brother worked there too. He was a machinist, and I would help him. So it was kind of a cool thing to be able to see how they made the
So you were
bikes.
actually working at the manufacturing plant where the bikes were being made?
Right. Yeah, I was
produced?
like maybe 13 or 14, and it was just, I would go to work with him, and he'd keep me busy doing stuff. So I wouldn't say I was working, but
How long did it take for the bikes back then to get from coast to coast?
like from
California
From
to,
raw-
let's
from
say, to
raw-
Virginia. To you.
raw tubing to
You.
me,
Just for once it's already tubed up in there.
I don't
Once you get in the
know.
box.
I have no idea.
What do you think? A month?
I have no idea.
3 weeks?
I have no
Snail
idea.
mail? Any input out there
I
anywhere?
have no idea. I know that I'm friends with one of the guys that was a welder there still.
Oh, cool.
And I can't remember if he would get paid like maybe $2 a frame to weld all the pieces together or something like that. It was like, when you think about it, it seemed like nothing, but it was 1980
Right.
or something.
What how many frames he did an hour? Or was it, I need money this week. You're good. Let's
He-
go.
He John, his name's John Severin. He cranked them out, so
Right.
he could tell you.
Was he the one who welded the Z frame? Or do you know
I'm
that?
sure he did, but the whole story on that's kind of mysterious. So I don't know.
Everybody wants to know the mysterious story if there's one to be told on the Z frame,
like the,
you know?
the phase one, and,
Phase one.
and Holt's design and all that kind of stuff. I don't know. I have no idea. So
Ask me a
I
question.
know
Right?
I know I broke a bunch of them.
Yeah, right.
So I still I have one, but it's not one of the ones I had when I rode. I bought it from a friend of mine.
Cool.
But yeah.
So it's Grands Week this week. We brought Justin in.
Yeah,
This is a lead up
Grands.
to the Grands. We're trying to get a just a new vibe on the internet here,
Well,
man. Let's go back in time. We're going to flip through one of these '80s magazines
Yeah.
here.
Well, but back in my day, we had the ABA Grands, the NBL Grands, the NBA Grands, and I'm sure there was a couple other Grands.
There were. We did it. The first one we believe was the '77 Grands.
Yeah.
That was the NBA one.
Okay. Yeah. So I never raced NBA because they sort of kind of went out of business or were bought out by NBL back when I was starting. But I raced the ABA Grands and the NBL Grands every year. What I remember about the ABA Grands, my very first one was 1981. I can't remember for sure, but track was very intimidating. Like the biggest, steepest starting hill I've ever seen.
Like 1981.
I think so. Is that Oklahoma maybe? Oklahoma City.
Didn't guess right.
Yeah, I don't. No, that's all. Yeah, this is a great one. This man,
There you go.
Sal Zuner, East Coast legend. Their whole family
Take it out.
was they were from Vineland, New Jersey. They ran the Vineland BMX track. Sal was an amazing pro that could hang with all the pros from the West Coast.
Is Sal still with us?
No, Sal passed away. Terry was his brother. He was really good. And Jenny Zuner, she was a female racer that was really, really good too.
What was the class called back then for the females?
Powder Puff.
The Powder Puffs.
Mhm.
How about that?
Yeah.
For the internet people who didn't know that.
Yeah.
Powder Puffs! That's
But yeah,
pretty
so
neat, man.
so his family owned Peddlers East Bike Shop, and they ran the track in Vineland, which was also Rich Farside's home track. So if you're into vintage,
We all
old
know
school
Rich
BMX,
Farside.
everybody
Yeah,
knows
that's
Rich
one of the big
Farside.
names out there.
he's
for
a
sure.
guy that should be in the Hall of Fame because he's a badass.
Yeah, he definitely badass.
And the Zuners, their whole family should be in the Hall of Fame because they really did wonders for BMX on the East Coast. Their mom made the best meatballs too. I remember going up there and her mom, Jenny's mom, made a bunch of meatballs for meatball subs, so we would eat them. It was
all
like-
about the meatball
well, it was
sauce,
like
the
a-
Jersey meatball sauce.
It was like a big
yeah.
family. It's still the same way.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was the same back then. Yeah.
So how about Vans? When did you find Vans?
I found Vans, well, I guess I was in middle school. And of course, everybody teased me for wearing Vans. They're like, what are you wearing? Those are stupid looking shoes. 'Cause I wasn't wearing Nikes.
Right.
And so every BMX kid or skateboarder kid had Vans back then. So who would have thought that they'd be so popular now?
Right. Yeah, everybody's got Vans.
Yeah, and then once I got on CW, I got tons of free Vans all the time. So they were always red, yellow, and black.
Always,
So,
yeah. There's actually some pictures of the red, yellow, and black
Yeah.
ones I have in the album
Yeah.
over there. I could even show you.
Got as many pairs as I wanted, but they were always red, yellow, black.
I'm gonna go to Kid Power to get them, or
Yeah.
through the big catalog. Vans used to have a big catalog.
Yeah.
I mean, thought, well, you flip through that catalog. We
Yeah.
want these, Mom, and
Yeah.
you know, it was
So
pretty neat.
So what were these? Maybe one over here. Let's see, 79.
That's 88 grands, 83, which might even be the 82 grands, depending on
Let's see.
because it's in March. The grands would have been in the.
Yes.
Maybe it took that long to get published.
Yeah. Yeah, now stuff gets published almost immediately. Nobody looks at magazines anymore. Let's see.
Oklahoma Weekend.
Dude, I didn't bring my reading glasses. Can't see.
Oklahoma Weekend.
Yeah. Oh, look at that. Franco Perino. I used to race against that guy. And a thruster ad on the back.
It's on the thruster. It's probably a bike that was actually made by Profile. We got the loop tail. Whether you guys knew that or not, Profile made a lot of the thruster bikes.
Yeah, they did, but Speed Unlimited
Speed Unlimited was at that time.
Yeah, yeah. So Speed
Oh, I see
Unlimited
that down
made
there.
a lot of the frames because they built drag racing chassis back then.
Small world, huh?
Yeah.
It's like a lot of you guys came from the drag racing
Yeah.
world.
So here you go. Here's Oklahoma City.
Come bring the camera. Take a look at
Yeah.
this.
Okay. So this
Here we
was
go.
82. Oklahoma City. This is before they moved it to Tulsa.
This kid right here, he was way fast. He probably still fast. He got on a bike. He probably rides. Steve
Yeah, he
Veltman.
is.
Fast guy. Way fast guy.
Brian's still fast. He was at Dirty Fest.
He's definitely.
He hopped on his cruiser and it was like 1983 again.
I bet.